Hi fellow yogis, as promised, I am going to demonstrate a 10-minute, try to stick to 10 minutes warm up daily routine that you might want to do just to limber up your body. I do this and a little bit more each morning and I feel like my joints respond well because of it. As always, I'd like you to have 2 blocks handy, a blanket to sit up on a height, of course, and a strap. I'd like for you to get started, just do a minute or so of centering. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it, but for this class, let's just sit cross-legged. Again, I'm sitting on a height, which is a folded yoga blanket towards the edge of the blanket. So my pelvis is tilted forward or anteriorly, legs are across the middle in an easy seated pose. Hands can just rest on top of your knees, palms down. Lightly close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Do that 2 more times. Exhaling all the air out. 1 more breath in, filling up your lungs, top to bottom, back to front, side to side, and out through the mouth. And now just close your lips and breathe normally, making the inhalation and the exhalation maybe just a little bit longer than your typical breath. Your shoulders are over your hips, your ears are over your shoulders. Shoulders are away from your ears, meaning drop down, and your head is feeling like it's being pulled towards the ceiling a little bit with your abs gently engaged. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last one. Flutter your eyes open. Take your blanket towards the end of your mat. Come onto your back. And we're going to start bringing your right knee into your chest. Left leg is out long, left foot is flexed. Trying to get that left thigh against the floor. Grab your right leg either by the shin, the front of the shin, or you can grab behind your hamstring. And we're just bringing it towards the chest and then angling it a little bit over towards the shoulder. We're going to hold this here for a bit. Breathing into any place that you find any tension or gripping. And then while we're here anyway, let's give that right ankle 3 turns to the right. Begin to loosen up the ankle joint, and then 3 turns to the left. One more deep breath in and out. And on your next inhale, switch legs, straightening out the right leg and pulling the left knee first towards your chest and then over towards your left shoulder. And again, remember that right leg is straight, right foot is flexed, and the top of the right quadricep is engaged. So again, breathing here. Give that left ankle a little turn in one direction. Notice where you have more popping, right or left. Mine is always left. And 1 more big breath in. 1 more breath out. And grab your strap. We're going to take the strap around the ball mound of the right foot, and then using the weight of our arms, just grab up on the strap while keeping your shoulders on the ground. That kind of uses little counter pressure. We're pulling those right toes towards our face, and that front of this quadricep on the right leg that's in the air is engaged, not locked, but engaged. Spread those toes on the right wide, and it's almost like you're pressing into the strap, like you're pressing into an accelerator to make a car go. And if this feels good and that isn't too much of a stretch on your right hamstring, stretch out your left leg, similar to the cues that we said before, with the left foot flexed, left hamstring trying to get close to the ground. And then you can pull the foot towards your face, but be honest. If you're grimacing or your breath is getting choppy, then back off just a little bit. The key here is keeping this leg straight and strong. If it's bent or this doesn't feel good, back off a little bit until you can straighten it. That's where the magic happens. And one more big breath in and out. Put both straps into the right hand. Turn the toes out to 1 o'clock if you were on an analog clock. Take your left arm out in a T shape with the palm up. And then slowly, slowly, slowly take that right leg out to the right, using your right elbow as a kickstand. And we're getting a stretch on the inner line of the right leg. That left leg is still firmly engaged and that hip is staying glued to the ground, not letting it pop up. And we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Remember to use your breath to kind of send it to wherever you feel any tension. Last one. And on the next inhale, bring that leg up to the top. Put both straps into your left hand this time. Turn your toes to 11 o'clock on the analog clock. And then just drop your foot over about a foot to the left. This is your right leg still, all working on the right. This time your right hip is staying on the ground and we're really just trying to get a little stretch on the outside of that leg. I would say the IT band, but we know that fascia, which IT band is, does not stretch. It's very tense. But the insertion points do stretch a little bit. Two more breaths here. And then the next inhale, bring that leg up, take the strap off, and just let your right leg come down and meet your left. And feel if you have any more space created. Maybe a little bit in your low back. Maybe your right leg feels a little looser. Maybe it feels the same. That's fine too. But we just like to try and assess after we do a little bit of stretch, see what happens. We'll swap to the left leg this time. So the strap goes around the ball mound of the left foot. Straightening that left leg. Hands holding onto the strap, shoulders on the ground, toes spread wide. And then straightening out that right leg as well with the foot flexed. And breathe. One more big breath in and out. Put both straps into the left hand. Turn the toes to 11 o'clock on this time and take the foot out to the left. And again, using your arm as a kickstand, making sure that right hip doesn't pop up, it stays glued to the ground. And here too, even with the leg out to the side, the front of that quadriceps is engaged. You're pushing through that band, the strap, like you're pressing on an accelerator. Last breath in and out. And then bring the leg up. Put the straps into the right hand, turn the toes to 1 o'clock and cross the leg over about a foot to the right. And obviously you're doing this at home. If you find you want to linger a little longer in any of these stretches, please do so. Just stop the video and take as long as you need. Again, remember that right hip is on the ground, stretching, hopefully feeling this from backside right here all the way down through your knee. Sometimes you can feel it all the way down to your calf. I definitely do on this side. Last breath in and out. Leg comes back up. We'll take that strap off. We don't need that anymore. So now we're going to do a pigeon on our back, or a supine pigeon. So with our feet on the floor, let's take that right ankle, cross it over the left knee, and now we're really taking our hand and turning the hip out into external rotation. Right foot is flexed, that protects our right knee. So you might feel a little stretch along the outside of the right hip here, but you might need a little bit more. So if that's the case, lift this left foot up and then grab either behind the hamstring. I'm not sure if you can see here, if I turn myself, when I grab behind my hamstring, I'm using that right elbow to keep that right knee externally rotated. If you have a little more range of motion, you can grab the front of the shin. But what I don't want to see is your pelvis popping up, because where the stretch happens is if we tilt that tailbone down and create a little space underneath that back. And that's where I really feel it, the stretch on the outside of the hip, both the piriformis, gluteus medius, variety of muscles outside there. 2 more breaths in and out. Last time. Slowly drop that left foot down. Bring the right foot to join it. This time take the left ankle, cross it over the right knee, turning that left hip out, flexing the left foot mightily. And then here, making sure my pelvis stays on the ground. I'm grabbing behind my hamstring on this side, using that left elbow to keep that left knee externally rotated, and then tilting my tailbone down. And really breathing into where I feel the stretch. Last breath in. Last breath out. Drop that right foot down. Bring the left to join it. Take your feet about as wide as your mat. Make sure I get rid of these blocks. And then we're going to just windshield wiper our legs. So take an inhale. On the exhale, drop the legs over to the right, the knees, Linger there for a second. Breathe in. Legs come up to the top. Breathe out. Legs go over to the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. And just moving them from side to side, but linking it with the breath. This action has us going into internal rotation on one side of the hip and external rotation on the other side of the hip. So we'll do one more round on each side. Excellent. Knees up to the ceiling. Grab behind your hamstrings. Roll yourself up to a seated position. Find that height again. I'm using the blanket, making sure the rolled end is the one closest to me. And again, an easy pose. Let's switch the cross of our legs from how we were sitting for centering a little bit earlier. You notice on this side, when I do this, I prop my knees up only because my right knee doesn't have that great of a range of motion since my knee replacement. So on an inhale, sweep your arms out, around, and up. Making sure you don't flare those ribs out. Pull the abs in. On the exhale, drop your right hand down, lean over to the right, and stretch that left hand towards the right side of the room. Making sure that left sits bone stays on the ground. Take a breath here. On your next inhale, bring the right arm up to meet the left overhead. Drop the left arm down. Stretch the right arm towards the left, keeping that right sitting bone down. Active through the fingers, don't have limp hands there. Take a breath. On the next inhale, come on up. Both hands are overhead. This time we want to grow really tall. And we're going to twist our chest to the right. So our right hand comes behind us and our left hand comes outside our right knee. And remember here, twisting is lifting. So we're making our posture great, our collarbones wide, but we're not cranking into this twist. This is a simple early twist. Just breathe here. One more inhale in. On the exhale, arms come up overhead. Take a breath in. Turning your torso to the left. Left hand goes behind you. Right hand comes outside your left knee. Again, lifting is twisting. Oh my gosh, you guys, when you do videos, you realize how much you repeat yourself. Just trying to have a tall, erect posture here. Pull your chin back just a bit. One more breath in and out. On the next inhale, bring the hands overhead. And let's just bend, hinge forward from the waist. Let your hands drop where they will. Let your head go and fold forward, feeling a little bit of a release in that low back and some opening in the hip. And while we're here face down, see if you can take a deep breath into the back body and expand your lungs backwards. Last breath. And slowly crawl yourself back up. We'll move next into a table position, and we will do a series here of cat pose, cow pose, child's pose, and down dog. So I'm patting up my knees. My hands are directly underneath my shoulders. Knees are directly underneath my hips. I have my toes uncurled here. I just kind of like that for cat-cow. So take an inhale while you're in neutral spine. On an exhale, push the floor away. Pull your belly up towards the ceiling. Tailbone goes down towards the floor. Let your head go. On the inhale, tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling this time. Let your chest drop between your shoulders. Head gets long. Now we're in cow pose. On our next exhale, we're going to lean back into child's pose. Just sinking our hips back, stretching our hands out long. And then on our next inhale, we'll curl those toes, push our sits bones up to the ceiling, into down dog. Taking a moment here, we'll take a couple of breaths, really pushing through the fingertips, taking the pressure out of your ribs, maybe softening your knees a little bit because we're trying to get those hip bones up to the sky, letting your head go. I just caught myself. Eyes of the elbow are facing forward. We're tractioning our spine here. One more breath in and out. And on the next inhale, drop your knees. Exhale, cat pose. Spine comes up to the ceiling. Inhale to cow pose. Feel your shoulder blades come together on your back. Belly sinks, tailbone up. Exhale, child's pose. And on the next inhale, curl your toes, pull, go up to dog pose. Take a breath here. We'll do one more of that sequence. Deep breath in as our knees sink down. Exhale into cow pose. Inhale into cat. I'm sorry, I just did that backwards. Let's do it again. Exhale into cat pose. Inhale into cow pose. Exhale into child's pose, and let's take a solid 2 breaths in and out right here. On the next inhale, come back up on your hands, curl your toes into down dog. letting your head go. And we'll take a moment here and just pedal out our feet, right and then left. Arms are straight here, pushing through the finger pads. Get rid of your blanket if you had that padding up your knees. We're going to come down to our knees, then shimmy down onto our belly for our version of Sphinx pose. Staying here for about 45 seconds. Elbows are directly underneath our shoulders. Hands are coming straight out ahead, picking up our right foot, stretching out back behind us, left foot the same, unclenching any gluteal muscles, but maybe keeping your abs lightly engaged so that you're not, you're protecting your low back a little bit. So just breathe here, pulling our chest forward just a bit. Maybe take your neck and look over your right shoulder. On the next inhale, take your head to the left, look over your left shoulder. Come back to center, take a breath in. On the next exhale, drop your chin to your chest and just let it go for a couple of breaths here. Let your chest come down. Put your hands underneath your shoulders. Push on up into down dog again. We're going to just walk our feet towards the center of the mat. Into a forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart. Knees can be bent as much as you need them, as much as your hamstrings are telling you you need to do. Again, let your head go. Shake it yes. Shake it no. Sits bones are reaching for the sky. You can have your hands on blocks here if your hands aren't hitting the floor. And then take an inhale halfway up, stretching your head forward, your tailbone back. As you exhale out, forward fold, and then breathing in, sweep your arms out, around, and up to upward salute. Hands come together, ceiling at heart center. And we're just gonna do 2 more half sun salutations, and we'll be done with this class. So from Tadasana, again, feet hip distance apart, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders, chin pulled back a little bit, belly in. On an inhale, arms sweep out, around, and up, upward salute. Exhale, swan dive down, bending your knees as much as you need to, hands on to the floor or to blocks. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come out, around, and up to the top. Don't seal it in. We're going to go right back down on the next breath out. Breathing in, coming up halfway. Forward fold on the breath out. And then last time, coming up on the in-breath. Hands together to top, bringing your hands to heart center. Close your eyes just for a moment. Thanks so much for joining me. This is just a quick morning workout. Not sure how long we created it for. 23 minutes? Oh my God, you guys, sorry. I thought it was gonna be 10. But hopefully it's helpful. Thanks, bye-bye.